please. And I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the
United States of America,
and
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Synchronizing things on Zoom. Whenever you see them singing,
Yeah.
they do like the chorus and everyone's singing together. We tried to do a poem and we couldn't even do that. So
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do roll call. Heather Legier,
Here.
David Etoff,
here.
Deborah Santiano McCatton,
Here.
Joseph Laval,
Here.
Ann Raponi is absent, and Robert Cassidy is absent, and I'm Chairman Nick Molason. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes from February 3rd, 2021?
I'll make that motion.
Seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Deborah Santiano McCatton. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so the number 2 item on the agenda is the continued public hearing for Beverly Street, which we have, I told them that we're going to have them withdraw without prejudice so they can come back to us, but we still need to close out the public hearing because they're going to have a new hearing. So I have a motion to close out that hearing and allow them to resubmit in the future.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Dave makes the motion, Heather Legier seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, next item is HYM Suffolk Downs for Building R9, 8-story mixed-use residential commercial. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make the
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
Heather
I'll second.
opens it. Heather opens it. David seconds. All right,
Yep.
all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, so who's going to start for HYM? All right, Mike, just name and address for the record, please. And you are muted. Hit your unmute button.
Actually, Nick, I'm going to share my screen if you could allow that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see how we do this here.
Right now?
Yeah, so Jeff wants to share his screen, Ruben.
Yeah, you should be able to now.
I can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you guys
Michael,
hear me or no?
I can hear you now, Michael. Yes. Michael, just name and address for the record like the usual.
Sure. Michael Barowski, 15 Sullivan Street, Charlestown.
Okay. And if you want to start, so you can.
Great. Good to be here again. So we're here tonight to talk about parcel R9 and the improvements that we're planning for it. This is one of the buildings that we was not included in our last meeting when we came before you with, I think, 3 different buildings. So just at a very high level, I just thought I'd briefly review the master plan just to orient everybody. Again, of course, this is a site. I think we've seen this arrow before, so I think quickly move to the next slide. So this is, again, our master plan that's been approved, and where Jeff has his cursor, if you can see it, that area is where building R9 is. And this is our initial phase of development for the entire Suffolk Downs project. And of course, we're starting in Revere. Go to the next slide. So this master plan just shows, you can see the building outline there. R9 is the long rectangular building, which is right adjacent to along Washburn Avenue near the Beachmont T Station. And this will be the first first building we plan to build at Suffolk Downs.
Point of information there?
I'm sorry, excuse me?
May I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
What is the designation for the other color?
Sure, happy to walk through that, yeah. So the blue colors, those are all commercial buildings. So those would be office or life science buildings, or any type of commercial office use. The color of R9, that color, those are all residential buildings. Some of those have ground floor retail, some of them do not. Building R9 happens to have ground floor retail, about 24,000 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
The darker orange that you see, if you can see it, that is hotel use. And then there's a pink color, which you see more in the Boston side. Those are smaller retail-only buildings.
So now you made me ask another question.
Sure, that's fine.
That designation for hotel is also attached to a residential. So it's a shared building between some hotel units and.
No, it's a good question. So right now that parcel R5, that parcel is R5, which is part of our subdivision plan. Part of that parcel will be utilized for separately for a hotel building. It will be on the same parcel, subdivided eventually, but not really intertwined with the building. They'll be totally separate in terms of, access to the building, entry access. There would be no connection between the two buildings for people who use the residences or if you're staying at them.
Okay, so that's basically an area that you're.
Yes, that's the footprint. That denotes the footprint of the building.
Okay.
Yeah, that the hotel will take. Hotels are usually very, very narrow because hotel rooms are small. So that's why it doesn't really. You only need a portion of it for about 160 for a 160 room hotel, which is what that denotes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So as you recall, we're starting our development here in phase 1. Our parcel R9 is part of our initial phase. I think we've come to you with all the other buildings thus far. So now we're just here to talk tonight about parcel R9. And this just gives you a little bit more of a snapshot. So again, you can see the building R9. As you can see, it is situated just up against the entry plaza to the site. And Jeff can just, wouldn't mind just rolling your cursor over that. So the plaza will be for pedestrians the way they enter the site, and then you can see this building is very important because it fronts the plaza. So we've taken a lot of care in terms of the architecture and just trying to think through how it meets the plaza. So the plan for this building is that it will be residential with ground floor retail. Building is in total about 340,000 square feet with 24,000 square feet of ground floor retail, which would be a mix of restaurants, other eateries, could be a coffee shop, could be also some neighborhood retail. We haven't developed the retail program yet. That's to be determined. Again, this building won't be really delivered for another 2 years, at least another 2.5 years, I think. And there will be 475 residential units above, comprised of studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. I guess I'd also point out, there is a buffer behind the building that we're building out as part of this. It's a landscaped area behind the building. Then you can see we front Road C, which is an important road because we anticipate a lot of retail to be on that road and it'd be very pedestrian. That's the high-level overview. With that, I can turn it over to Jeff if there aren't any questions, and he can provide a little bit more detail on our submission.
I'd like to ask another question.
Sure.
Go ahead, Joe.
Washburn Ave, is that a paper street or does that run the whole length of the development?
So that runs up until a point. It runs up until a point, and we just it was actually recently discontinued. At the end where the last house is, right around where the last house is, 130 Washburn Avenue. It's been discontinued beyond that.
Could you point to that for me?
Yeah, Jeff is pointing out right now. So
I'm trying to get a feeling for the, that's going to be the access and egress is going to be from Washburn then.
So no, I should have pointed that out. Maybe there's a better plan. So Washburn Avenue.
Here it looks like it's coming in from the top there.
So the main street, the main road into this initial development phase is Road B. As you can see, Jeff is pointing that out. That will be a fully signalized intersection. And so we're doing a whole series of off-site roadway improvements as part of that must be completed in advance of the first building delivering here. So we're working with Howard Stein Hudson, our transportation engineer, in that, and we're not quite ready. We're still in the very early design stages there, but that will be the main point of access is Road B. In addition, if you can see there's a parking lot up to the left, and then there's a temporary road which we're building, which Jeff has his cursor on right now. There's a temporary road which will lead back to Tomasello. So that way, people who live in the building will have 2 ways to get to building R9, either via this via Tomasello by this temporary road, or Road B, which again is fully signalized, will be a fully signalized intersection or kind of our main street within the Suffolk Downs site.
So that area looks like pavement between Winthrop and Washburn. That's just a walk area to have access to the T station,
Correct.
et cetera, et cetera.
Correct. This is all pedestrian. Yeah, this is a pedestrian plaza. It'll be very, very well designed. There'll be street trees, and then there'll be some softscapes, some greens. Have a kind of a grass kind of area here in the middle with some decking material that would be ideal for performance or just gathering spaces to maybe just host local events.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Any other commissioners have any questions? All right, so I have a question. So basically the back of the building is Washburn, correct?
So yes, there's a 30-foot buffer between the building.
That was my next question.
Pointing
Okay.
out there's a 30-foot buffer between the building and Washburn Avenue, and then there'll be a fence.
And we have, and storm water is all coming back onto the property, correct? Not out to Washburn.
Well, it depends on the location. So there is a berm along the back currently and proposed. It's going to remain as it is. We're maintaining the drainage, so portions of it flow back onto the site. We have area drains proposed that will flow back onto the site and carry the drainage through the site. There's a
Okay.
small portion that will be flowing off site onto the Washburn Ave side where there's existing catch basins where that
Which is currently there now. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Any other commissioners?
I'm
Heather? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just having trouble like visualizing where it is, like, because I'm not really that familiar with that area. Like the justification. Are you talking about where the roast beef shop is now? Is that
The side street next to the roast beef place is Washburn.
Right.
So if you're on Winthrop Avenue heading into Beachmont Square, you take a right. That's where this building's gonna go.
Okay.
But it's on the right. It's on the west side, if you will, of Washburn,
Okay.
not the Beachmont roast beef side. The
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah, across from the Beachmont Roast Beef parking lot. Yeah. Any other commissioners have any questions?
I'm
All
actually
right, I
just
don't know if
curious. I mean, there's a
Sure.
lot of residents on Washburn, and clearly they're dealing with the subway. So maybe this is not a major concern of theirs, but have they provided any feedback on these plans?
I haven't heard from anybody myself. I'm not sure if HYM has. I actually believe that HYM bought a couple of those houses. Stan, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you guys did.
We
But I
purchased
haven't heard from just
property.
one of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard from any of the residents myself.
There was a long, lengthy process going through the special permit approval process where
Yep.
the residents of Washburn Ave were engaged during that portion, and that helped assist with the overall design of the site. And part of that conversation ended with providing this buffer between Washburn and the building itself.
Okay, thank you.
I'll ask this to Jeff.
Sure.
What about utilities, power lines, et cetera, et cetera? Are they all going underground in this development, or you're not stringing poles around here?
No. So not interior to the site. There won't be telephone poles. We'll have everything underground, everything all electric, telecommunications will be handled underground. And also as part of the special permit approval process, HYM agreed to underground the utilities that are located along their front door. So that Washburn Ave, Revere Beach Parkway portion of Suffolk Downs that currently has all the telephone poles with all those utilities on them, telecommunications and electric on them. That's all going underground along that front.
And because you're going up 8 stories, I assume this isn't going to be wood framed. It's going to be
So we'll be,
concrete and steel.
Frame over podium. I guess Mike, you can take that. Sorry.
yeah. So it is with 8 stories, you can do podium, right? The steel podium, and then you have a wood frame construction above, which is 5 stories. So in total, it's 8 stories. So, but we are not a high-rise building, but we are 8 stories is you can do it with wood frame over a 3-story podium.
Oh, really? See, now I thought it was 5. Why?
Well, yeah, so it's 5 stories of wood, 5 stories of wood over the podium. The podium portion is not.
Oh, so there's going to be what? 3 stories of podium?
Correct. That's right.
Interesting. The buildings across the street on the other side of Winthrop Ave, is that the same thing?
One Beachmont, I think one Beachmont might be just 5 over. I think it's like 5 stories of stick frame construction over maybe a single level. So I'm not, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure.
But I believe you're right, Mike.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 stories over 1.
And one more question. Thank you. I'm learning a lot here. Are you having parking under the building too?
Yeah, there'll be one level of parking with about 190 spaces. That's about a half level below grade. And so that will service the building in addition to the surface parking lot that that was on the plan, which I shared with you.
Did you people get an exemption for parking also from Revere?
Well, we have an exemption. No.
Exemption?
Variance.
No, we have target parking ratios that we need to meet that are, as part of our initial development phase, we're meeting through parking at the building, and also street spaces, and also the surface parking lot, and then future expansion capability for parking within the development.
But I believe it was 1.5 per unit for Revere, unless you got an exemption.
Well, I guess so. I guess I wouldn't call it an exemption, but we work with the city of Revere because we believe that our parking requirements would be less, given we're so close to the T, given there's going to be no 3-bedroom units, which is actually a condition of our special permit. And so when we talked to the city of Revere, we arrived at an average around 1.1 versus the 1.5.
Yeah. Revere's been pretty generous with making, taking that into consideration. I, as a resident, not thrilled about it, but I guess you as a developer must be happy. But
well,
I haven't that doesn't sit right with me. They've done it on the places on the beach. And this is a shout out to whoever runs this in the city. But I think they should stay with the 1.5. This is what happens someday. It's a sunny day on the beach. Sorry.
No problem. Understood. I mean, just to let you know, our parking requirements in Revere are almost double that in Boston. So in Boston, we can have we have a 0.5 ratio for our apartments. We can do 1 for the condos, but we average out at around 0.6. So it's, Boston's a different city, I understand, but I'm saying on the other side of the Suffolk Downs site, which is in East Boston, we do have a lower parking requirement. But understood we anticipate there won't be any residents parking off of the site.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone else have any other questions? All right. I had to switch devices, guys, because my iPad was dying. You guys can still hear me, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So do we have any other proponents that want to speak in favor? I know Bob O'Brien is usually here, but I believe he's in another meeting with Al Baker.
Nick, one thing, so this building that they're bringing to us, what exactly are we voting on for this building, for them to build it within this 100-foot buffer zone?
Yeah, Jeff, this just falls under the buffer zone, right, or the floodplain?
The floodplain. So we're within land subject to coastal storm flowage at this location. So the parcel, the full parcel resides within that area. So all the activities within it are under your jurisdiction, which is why we're presenting to you today.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. All right, Heather, is that okay? You all right?
The whole site is within the buffer zone, and that's why.
There's no buffer.
I'm sorry.
It's all land subject to coastal storm flowage. It is not buffer zone. So there's no wetland. There's no wetlands. There's no wetlands or associated buffer zones that are encountered on this parcel. It is only land subject to coastal storm flowage, floodplain.
Okay. So if
when they first made the presentation, you look at that first aerial photo that Jeff or Mike showed, it gives you a real great perspective of where everything goes eventually. in this area. It goes right into Bell Island, and it's a beautiful
Yeah.
shot. You have that, Mike?
And just
Jeff is starting it now.
Jeff, the original photo is photographed. No, that's one of them. Yeah, look at that one. You
Well,
get a good perspective on both of them.
Yeah.
so here we're looking towards the south. We're looking at the city of Boston here. We're interested in parcel R9 currently. That's what we're before you today to talk about. This greenery along here is Sales Creek, and this discharges, on the other side of Bennington Street out to the Atlantic Ocean. And so what we're looking at for flows are there's a series of wetlands here that, again, Sales Creek is here, that drain towards Sales Creek, out the tide gate, and over into the Atlantic. So what happens during larger storm events, the reason why this is floodplain, all of this ends up getting backed up with water. The floodplain actually encompasses a significant portion of the site during the 100-year flooding event.
Okay. So what elevation are we at? What building? What elevation is this building?
So here, I'll go back to the other.
Yeah.
So if I zoom in here, we have grading that goes around the site. We've got elevation 18 and a little bit higher on the front side. On the back, we're looking at elevations 17 or thereabouts. We have a bit of a slope located here to connect to the roadways, which is at elevations 16, 17, heading up. And then we start ramping down and into the underground parking.
Okay. And where are you discharging the, any water from the site?
So as part of the roadway and infrastructure notice of intent, we included the master plan drainage design, which included the flow coming from this parcel and all of the parcels tying to that master plan drainage system. So let me see if I can, if you give me a few minutes, I can pull up those plans, which are slightly, because it includes the full parcel. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, the full property.
Is it flowing out onto Winston?
So a portion flows, there's a drain line here. I'm almost there. Just give me 1 more second.
In total, how many apartments do you envision in Revere and then in total Revere and Boston?
So it'll be a mix of, looks like I guess I could answer that, Jeff, while you're looking. I'll give you more time. So there'll be roughly about 3,000 units in Revere. Will be a mix of senior housing, apartments, and condominiums. Over the entire site, there'll be an additional 7,000 units in Boston. Again, mix of senior housing, condominiums, and apartments.
So while he's looking.
So this is, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff. No, I don't, go ahead.
So this is the master plan that was approved. This was the notice of intent that was included for the roadway and infrastructure portion, which included the master plan drainage. And for this portion, there is a drain line that runs along Winthrop Avenue. Along this frontage here, you can see this drain manhole. There's a small D. I'm not sure if you can see. If I zoom in more, you might be able to see it. You see these manholes and this little D?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we do tie in a portion of the drainage ties into that line along plaza area, for example, that will tie into that drain line, which does discharge. You have to give me a second to scroll to the next page. If you bear with me, on the right-hand side is where we're coming from on that drain line. It continues along that frontage. You can see this D here along Winthrop Ave, Revere Beach Parkway, and then discharges at this location here at the Green Creek portion of Sales Creek. That's where a portion of the drainage goes, and then the other portion connects to a detention basin that used to be part of the, it used to be a CAFO pond. It's no longer part of the Suffolk Downs. We have a separate drainage detention basin that's located on the south. I guess it's just off this. 1 second.
Now, I do remember going through the plan in larger form, but so now you're just coming back like building by building. Is that what you're doing now?
Exactly. So this was the master plan that got reviewed previously. You can see this drain line here connecting to this detention basin. So this is what we're connecting into that will tie into that detention basin that then discharges to Sales Creek, just as it used to, that detention basin.
Okay. Now, do you have oil separators placed in the parking garage?
So within the parking garage, that would be plumbing code that governs drainage within the garage itself because it's interior to the building. But we do have water quality inlets where necessary, and we're providing our TSS, total suspended solid removal, through the detention basin and other means.
So nothing nasty, no oil or pollutants is gonna exit on into that creek.
Correct. Yes. So currently, whereas everything flowed undetained and flows directly into the creek, we're now bringing everything up to stormwater management standards that are today, required 80% plus TSS removal rate, detention, attenuation, and infiltration. We're now meeting the Mass DEP requirements, whereas currently or previously, all of that was flowing directly into the creek. So this is a significant upgrade from what's out there today.
It's true, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask and make sure the details are all set.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Any other questions? Any other commissioners have any questions?
Quick, big picture question. Right now,
Sure, Joe.
there's 3 different roadways to this property in total. There's 1 on the Parkway and 2 on Lee Burbank. Is that the intention to stay with those 3, or do you intend to add a 4th or block up that one, the second one go to the Lee Burbank Highway, or what?
Yeah,
Do you have any idea on that?
Yeah, sure. So the one on Route 1A, Lee Burbank Highway, which is at the kind of left side of the screen, that will remain. Right, there will be road work that's going to happen as a part of this project in the future in improvements along Route 1A, but that will remain and become a newly, fully signalized intersection. The Tomasello intersection with Winthrop Avenue will remain also. We are going to adjust how Tomasello, right now it comes straight out to Winthrop Avenue, and in a future phase, we are going to adjust the road so it's going to curve right a bit. It's better for traffic flow, traffic patterns. It's very close to North Shore Road now. So as a result, it creates an issue with queuing. So that will remain, again, be fully signalized. And then we're creating the new one, which the other fully signalized one is the Main Street, which I talked about before. There is one additional, right to the left is an additional inlet to it's a right in and right out from Winthrop Avenue. Will not be signalized, but that's just an additional kind of outlet, I should say, for people to get into the site, but also really to get out of the site, and then head east or west on Winthrop Avenue.
And that doesn't exist now.
No, I mean the Main Street doesn't exist now. Road B that Jeff is highlighting, and then this new one that I just referenced. I think that's Road Road A. That does not exist yet either, but that will be part of when we start building out the roads and utilities. For our initial phase, that will be built out.
Does that mean there's gonna be a set of lights on both of those?
No, there will only be a set of lights on Main Street, Road B.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other commissioners have any questions? All right. Any other proponents that want to speak? I'm trying to see if there's anybody else here. I know there is one attendee. All right. So there's no more proponents. No one else wants to speak. So closing out that side, is there any opponents that want to speak against this project? If there is, please raise your hand. I don't see anything. So, do I have a motion to approve as stated?
I'll make a motion.
Heather makes a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dave Eatoff. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Do I have a motion to close out the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Seconded by Joe Laval. All right, guys, from HYM, I didn't even look today. I'm not sure if we got a DEP file number, but if we did, I'll get you guys this copy within the next few days.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is a public meeting for 48 to 50 Arcadia Street, certificate of compliance, Maureen Testa. This is an old order of conditions from 1986 that somehow never got closed out, or it did, and they lost the certificate, but she sold the property and has a closing date at the end of the month, so we need to get her a certificate of compliance. It's so old, I don't even know what the work was. That's how old it was. So I told her we'll issue her a certificate of compliance. The house has changed hands a few times within her family, so it got filed somewhere, but someone lost it. So do I have a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for this woman?
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Joe makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dave Eatoff. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. So we got next is communications. We got a letter from Mass DEP. They are appealing 320 Charger Street. And I'm sure you guys all got the copy of it. I spoke with Rick Salvo from Engineering Alliance. He's going to try and make the changes that DEP wants without DEP actually taking the order of conditions over. So he's going to work on that for hopefully next month and come back in front of us for an adjustment, for an amendment to the order of conditions. It's basically for the storm water. They want to make sure that it's going to be enough, what they're proposing to catch any of the storm water. So we will hopefully see him next month for that. And that is it. Our only other communication was from Seiko Engineering. They're doing some replacing and reinstalling new telephone poles, which they don't need to get an order of conditions for that. They're exempt. And that's it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn by Deb, seconded by Heather Leger. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you,
Sure.
Ruben.
Night,